Hello everybody, Breck here again with another Deltaforce video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming days for Deltaforce. They're really exciting because we basically are going to get new content for the Deltaforce Alpha. For people that have not followed the Deltaforce social channels, do so because they are giving out a lot of information and they're very active with the community. So for people that have been living under a rock for the last couple of days, I'm going to give you guys a small recap about what is going to happen the next couple of days. For people that didn't know, there is also an email box within the game where the developers will give you information. It is actually crazy to see how a game developer is able to put live service updates in an alpha. First of all, since yesterday, the 13th of August 2024, we have access to a new operator. The name of the new operator is David Feller, or call sign Uluru. He is an engineer, which makes him, next to Shepard, the second engineer in the game. I'm very happy that we have finally a second engineer because this is the only class that has effective good firepower against vehicles. Yes, I know there are other operators that can also damage vehicles, but I find engineers still to be the most effective. Let's go a little bit over his abilities. His ultimate, let's say so, is a guided rocket launcher. It gives you the ability to guide a rocket towards a tank, but beware, the rocket can get shot mid-air. The first ability is called a quickset cover, which is basically a gooey grenade that makes a shield, but beware, the shield is not really that strong. If you're standing up on it, it will crumble. He's also the first operator that can throw an incendiary grenade. Let's just say a fire nade. And his last trait is a battle hardened. I think that's maybe more something for the tactical turmoil, but it basically gives you better resistance to slowing effects from fractures and class gear. I've played a few rounds with this operator and I have to say I give him a solid 7.5. He has a second rocket launcher to damage vehicles up far. The cover is really good against like just small projectiles and bullets. And the fire nade is overall just a good AoE damage that can block off a certain path. He's definitely one of the more defensive operators, which makes the gameplay a little bit more passive. I know that the playstyle depends on the person playing the operator. It just feels like a very classic defensive operator that uses shields to advance or to turtle down. Let's get on with the other news, which is actually more important. On August 16th, the Deltaforce Alpha will introduce a new mode in Havoc Warfare called King of the Hill. If it is true, this game mode will be more like Conquest from Battlefield. This will allow more dynamic gameplay because the map will be more open. You will be able to flank around, capture different objectives, focus a little bit more on different fights and take them to your advantage. You will not have the classic A&D or attack and defense line where you try to push out the enemy when you're on attack or trying to hold the line when you're on defense. There's also going to be a new tactical turmoil map called Space City. Now, I still haven't really played too much of Tactical Turmoil. I still like it, although I did play one confidential round and I got my ass whooped. Nonetheless, I focus mainly on the Havoc Warfare because that is my preferred game mode. Now, there hasn't been a new map announced, so I assume we are still going to play King of the Hill on Cracked and on Ascension. I'm really looking forward how this is going to be on Ascension because we have a really big map. People from the Battlefield series, they probably have a little bit of feelings of Damavand Peak from Battlefield 3. I guess we will know very soon. I'm not sure if other people have the same feeling, but Cracked for me feels like the new Strike at Karkand. And I know I should not be comparing Deltaforce too much about Battlefield, but we're doing it anyway because we're coming from a Battlefield background. But Deltaforce right now is the game that I want to play. There's still one thing that kind of bugs me while I'm playing Deltaforce, and it's still the bots. In my opinion, the bots still should be only an option. And if people would not play with the option, they would not encounter bots on the battlefield. I'm sure I'm not the only one that had a good flank and it gets stopped by AI because it insta-locks you. It just feels overall a little bit unrewarding. It's not the same that you're dominating enemy players because you're dominating AI. And it's not that the AI is learning because the bots are doing the same mistakes over and over. I realized that a bot is actually not programmed to destroy your spawn beacon. So if you're playing one of the recon classes that has a spawn beacon available, you can actually place your spawn beacon in the middle of the map and all the bots will just pass by the spawn beacon. They will not even care to try and look at it or destroy it because I think they're programmed that that is not a player and they only insta-lock and focus on players. As soon as your spawn beacon is destroyed, you actually can see that that player aims down and at a different angle and you can actually tell that that's a real player. Overall, the frustration of the bots keeps me occupied. I really would like to see full rounds of only players and no bots, because that way will be the first actual way to tell how it fully feels on the battlefield. Bots are programmed to do one thing, but the human mind can have a different creativity to certain situations, and I want to experience that on full scale 32 versus 32. Maybe there's going to be an option for bots in the future, or there will be some like sort of streamer events where they will invite 32 players to fight versus 32 other players to actually see and experience how that actually feels. But until then, we basically have to deal with the bots on the battlefield. Overall, I'm just having a blast playing this game. And seeing the developers and the social team being very engaged with the community gives really good hopes for the future. The fact that an alpha is being updated live service with extra content for people to enjoy, I mean, I haven't seen that before. I think it's a perfect storm for Deltaforce to just take over a lot of players from the FPS scene. I think a lot of players have been looking just for a game that they can just enjoy playing. You have a lot of customization options, it's chaotic, you have a good gunplay, there's elements for team play, you can play 2 different game modes, there's multiple maps. I mean, and this is just an alpha. Imagine like what it's gonna be like when the game actually releases. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is an official release date for Deltaforce yet. There is an official release date for Deltaforce Mobile in China in a couple of weeks in September 2024. Knowing that the Deltaforce mobile version in China is ready to be released and the live service updates of the alpha on PC, for me that feels that the game is at a further state than they actually want to tell you. And that is a good thing, because that means that they're probably ahead of schedule and, well, as we will be able to experience in a couple of days, they can surprise us with extra content along the way, even if we're in alpha. A quick reminder for all the engineers, you do have a blowing torch or a repair torch. Use it when your teammates' vehicles are damaged. You get easy logistic points and it also helps the flow of the battlefield. For the remaining minutes of the video, I will be giving live commentary on the round in the background. As you can see here on C2, there is an easy, quick way to get on top of the building. If you didn't know, you can use it right now. It is a bit of a defensive position, but be careful because the flag is not in range. Meaning that if you are defending the last flag and you're on this position, you are actually not in cap range, meaning that you're not defending the flag. Yes, you will be able to get a few kills from this position if the enemy doesn't know that you're there, but eventually if the enemy outruns you on the flag, you will still lose it if there's nobody in the flag. The rooftop where I just died feels to be one of the most important ones on the C2 area. It gives you an overview over the courtyard of the C2 flag, and it has a good defensive position to go fall back to. Even below the roof on the side of the attackers, there is also a resupply station. Use it to your advantage. If you didn't know, you can press like your use key for that. For me, it's F, and you can actually replenish ammo and health. Also, don't forget to use the out of bounds zone. It's a very good way to flank the enemy if it's pushing too much. You can catch people off guard and you can get a funny kill, like for example here with the repair torch. Overall, it's just a very good way to flank the enemy to catch them off guard. I think this is the only location on Cracked where it really works that well. I'm really looking forward to play the new game mode King of the Hill because I think the out of bounds area walks will be more effective there. The defenders can actually get on top of this rooftop really quickly using the small 2 jumps. And this rooftop gives you a nice overview of the C1 area. The rooftop where I'm standing on right now doesn't only allow a good attacking position, it's also a pretty good defensive position. With the new operator and 2 quickset cover grenades, you can actually cover your back. With the opening, you can actually rain down on enemies that have pushed past C1. And obviously, if you accumulate enough points, you can actually drop down a cluster missile. And yes, the cluster missile is a pretty good one. I think it goes over 4,500 points, which is actually really good. I told you it was a pretty good one. But even with all the efforts and a cluster rocket on the defensive side, we still did not make it in the end. The enemy just overrun us, and overall I think I was a little bit way too deep away from the flag of defending. Overall, I had a pretty good round playing the new operator. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a dislike. And I will see what I can do for the next one. If you have any feedback regarding the video or a topic for the next video, let me know down in the comments and join the Discord server. And also follow me on Twitter so you can get live updates on when I go live. If you want to see the action live, follow me on Twitch and I'll see you there.